Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of the GIIS podcast, the Smartcast. I am Niranjana Raja and I will be your host for today's episode. Today, we are honored to have with us Akshay Pranav, one of our 10th grade IGCSE school toppers. He is a highly enthusiastic learner and listener who holds a strong academic record. He is extremely passionate about maths and physics. He scored a whopping 99 in external maths board exam and has fared well in other Olympiads he participated in. It is indeed very impressive to witness his academic progress with 9 A stars being a byproduct of it. Akshay has also been a part of the school cricket team and has good extracurricular background. He had intense training in the Singapore Cricket Academy and the MS Dhoni Academy and was a key player in numerous cricket tournaments. It is his dream to pursue engineering in NUS and he is working really hard to achieve his goal. With that being said, welcome Akshay. It's a pleasure to have you on our show. We
Thank
all
you so
are
much.
really eager to know more about you.
Thank you so much for having me here. It feels really great to be interviewed. It's my first time being interviewed. So thank you so much. It feels really great to be here. Thank you for the
Wow.
invite.
Were these the results you expected? What was your reaction to these fabulous scores?
Yes, I was very much anticipating this result because I worked really hard towards this particular course. I was really dedicated learner in focusing towards my academics, and I very much anticipated this 9 A test, and it feels really great to have achieved this target, which was my goal in the initial stages of my course. And the second part of the question is a bit tricky one. Um, when I got my result, on the result day, which was last week Tuesday, um, I wasn't really nervous. I was very much cool. I was able to control my emotions, which was very surprising. And because we didn't write the board exam, but still I was a bit nervous, but still I was able to control my emotion and I was a bit cool. And when I got my result, I was very happy and elated, and I felt really happy and self-satisfied because eventually my hard work eventually paid off. It was a great thing, and yeah, I was mostly very cool that day, and I was very happy eventually getting the result. And yeah, it's a great thing.
Wow, that is so nice to hear. I'm sure everyone must be wanting to know how you prepared for the exams. Please let us know the secrets of your achievement.
There's no particular secret or any rocket science to getting 9 A's as an IGCSE, but what I really followed was in terms of understanding the concept and applying the concept rather than just memorizing it. I was looking to work on the process. I was looking to enjoy the process rather than just focusing on the marks. I wasn't mark oriented, but rather focusing on the process and focusing on improving the skills, which is very much essential in improving yourself. And what I really did was I followed my ethical principles and the moral principles, which is very general. And I was very committed towards doing my homeworks on time, my assignments on time, properly without copying or copy pasting from internet, but rather thinking and trying to really focus on improving the skill, which is very essential. And I feel that that was the main reason why I was able to get to this wonderful achievement of 9 A stars. And in addition, let me tell you another thing, which is kind of a humorous thing. So my friends have actually nicknamed me the so-called marking scheme. But don't get me wrong, I don't memorize the marking scheme as such. But then I actually understood that I could exploit the marking scheme as a tool to understand what the examiner actually requires. So the marking scheme actually for science, math subjects, it helps you to understand how you're supposed to interpret the question in the way the examiner wants you to, and the skill which you're supposed to develop. It helps you to understand the key registers which is required in exam context, and even for language subjects and humanitarian subjects. It is essential to understand the skills that are necessary, and it helps in also the process of self-reflection, understanding what skills you've acquired and what other skills you're supposed to develop in, and what your weaknesses and what your strengths are. So it's essential to understand how the marking scheme works on and and interpreting what you're supposed to improve as a skill on a personal level. And that's exactly what I did, and it helped me a lot. It helped me a lot on a personal level to improve and benefit from it. But then it's very essential to not just memorize the marking scheme, but rather apply it and understand what the examiner wants, which was very helpful for me. And I would recommend everyone to actually look through the marking scheme before sitting for the exam so that they understand what they exactly have to do. And in addition, it's also essential to solve past paper questions at least last 5 to 6 years past paper questions, because then you will be able to have get a fair idea of how the questions will come, and you shouldn't be surprised if the questions are repeated as well, because that's a standard pattern which the IGCSE follows, and it's essential to understand how the questions are coming, which makes you more prepared and gives a greater edge in doing well in the examination.
That is so helpful. Who all do you think played an integral part in your success, and what role was played by your parents and teachers?
My parents, my teachers, my brother, and my family relatives were all helpful in and very supportive in achieving this really good target, and really achieving my goal of getting 9 A stars. Um, my parents were very helpful, supportive, and encouraging, and also at the same time they were monitoring what I was doing, and they kept me really motivated at all times and helping me to get relieved from stress and really focus on academics, and they were and checking if I'm going on the right track, which was essentially for me in keeping myself focused and academic oriented. And in addition, my teachers were really helpful, and they were really supportive, because since I was young, I was kind of struggling in the language subjects, especially English and Tamil. Um, but then I was relatively better off in science, math subjects. I'm more of a science, maths person than a language person. So I was kind of struggling in English and Tamil, but I feel really grateful for the teachers I've had. I feel really thankful and grateful to Preeti ma'am to have exactly established my foundation in language, and then really thankful and grateful to Subramaniam sir, who was my language and literature teacher in 9th, 10th, and he offered us the right guidance, the right support, and he gave us so much of feedback session on how to improve on. He helped me on a personal level to mold my skill in English rather than. And he was the one who actually explained to me that English language is not just about getting marks, but actually improving and progressing further, which was very helpful for me. And I was able to develop my skill, and I was able to spark my individual perspectives in understanding and interpreting the world, which helped me to develop better as a person as well. And coming back to Tamil, I feel really thankful and grateful to Kalaimani sir and Radhika ma'am. They were my Tamil teachers. So ever since I started, ever since middle school, I feel really grateful to them to have corrected my mistakes and given their input on how I could improve. It was very essential for me and helpful for me to develop my skill and to have sparked my interest towards the language subjects. And I feel really thankful to them. And a special thanks to Usha ma'am. She was my maths teacher in 9th and 10th. And her balance between constructive criticism and at the same time humor and encouragement was really helpful for me in keeping myself motivated and striving towards mathematics. And she was able to identify the faults in my approach, and she was able to and she also encouraged my strengths, and it helps me to exactly work on my weakness and yet foster my existing strength. So that was really helpful. I feel really thankful to her. And then a special thanks to my class teacher Rohini ma'am. She was absolutely the best class teacher in supporting us and keeping us on track, and ensuring that we were not getting distracted. So she was the best class teacher I've ever had, and I feel really thankful and grateful to her. And a special thanks to Ullas sir and Nitya ma'am. They were my science teachers, and they kept clearing my doubts and my conceptual doubts and exam related doubts. Even before the exam, they cleared my doubts, and I feel really thankful to them to have actually helped me understand my concepts well. And it was only because of their results, and it was only because of their effort I was able to develop and improve academically and understand the exact concepts rather than just memorizing them. And that's exactly what that has helped me to develop my interest towards and passion towards academics. And yeah.
That is so nice to hear. What do you think your strengths and weaknesses were? How did you manage to leverage your strengths and overcome your weaknesses?
As I had mentioned earlier, my science and math subjects were my strength, but the language subjects were my weakness. So what I did, I kept following the instructions and the guidance of the teachers. I kept doing the homework properly, even though initially I was scoring great. I kept following the instructions and the guidance given by the teachers. I was following the exam strategies and their tips. I was applying them in my homeworks and in my assignments, and that really paid off well. And I went after my language teachers for feedback sessions and how I could improve on, and that really helped me to improve and progress in overcoming my weakness, which was really helpful and satisfying to have developed the skill in language. Though I had a really great interest towards language ever since I was young. And science, math subjects, as I had mentioned earlier, were my strengths. And and it's always been it has always been a passion in me, which I've discovered towards science and maths. And I feel really great to have overcome my weaknesses in language and yet fostered my strengths in science and maths. And the key strategy which I applied in fostering my existing strengths was continuous and regular practice and commitment towards academics by regularly practicing questions and and solving test papers and past papers regularly, and also applying and reading information and researching, which helped me to progress really well.
That's a really clever strategy. Since you managed to not only find an excellent balance between your extracurriculars and academics, but also managed to produce impeccable performances in both, do you mind telling us how you did this?
I particularly feel this question isn't exactly applicable to me because I was more of an academic person, but I yet had a balance towards extracurricular activities. I did take part in RWCC competitions. I volunteered in a couple of competitions, and I was a part, as you had mentioned earlier, I was a part of the school cricket team. So my main primary focus was towards academics, but I considered extracurricular activities as an additional hobby to overcome the consequences of stress and actually keep myself happy and focused. So I was more academically focused, yet I kept a good balance between the extracurricular activities and academics. And the main essential uh, strategy which I applied was time management and commitment and discipline. This is essential because you need to keep yourself focused at all times, and you shouldn't get yourself distracted on unnecessary things. And that's exactly what has helped me to keep myself balanced in managing time efficiently by doing well in extracurricular activities, and yet at the same time progressing really well in academics. And that's what I feel really happy about.
Wow, you really are very talented. Were there ever times when you felt like giving up because of the stress? If so, how did you deal with that?
Yes, there were many occasions when I felt like giving up. As I had mentioned earlier, my weakness subjects like language and language subjects like literature, language, and Tamil, they were my weakness, and that really caused a lot of stress because I wasn't doing well initially. But my teachers told me, don't give up, don't be disheartened initially, and they said that it's essential to progress further and to do better and look for improvements rather than just going for the marks. So that actually helped me to keep myself focused and stop worrying about relatively low scores, but rather actually looking to improve on the skills. And from that I understood that with the process, with the developing the process, you tend to the result automatically comes with the process. The result comes, and it's something that I really learned from them. And that's one of the reasons why I was able to cope up with my stress. And as I said earlier, Subramaniam sir was really helpful in supporting us and offering us the right guidance. And he also gave us really good exam strategies related to English, and also to develop and also to negate the whole concept of stress by keeping yourself engaged in other activities as well. So he gave us really good advice in all fields, not just towards English, but towards other personal other situations as well, based on a personal level. And that helped me to overcome my stress. And also in general, being a high school student, it's very common to face academic stress because there were many exams conducted like semesters and pre-boards. So it's very common to feel stressed. But what I did was that I ensured that I finished revising, doing my revision part well in advance, so that I don't feel freaked out before the exam. So that helped me to negate the concept of stress. And also I listen to music, I play cricket, I watch the television at times, and that also helped me to keep myself focused and to avoid the consequences of stress. And recently I've also started doing yoga practices, which has helped me to feel really peaceful and calm and not panicked. So that's what I generally do, and it's more of a personal lifestyle where I balance between academics, extracurricular activities, and also having a bit of free time to rejuvenate from the daily stress. And that's exactly how I've been able to cope up and achieve this result, which I feel really happy and proud about, and grateful to all my teachers.
That's really nice. Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
As I had mentioned earlier, I have had great passion towards mathematics and physics, so I feel that I would be working somewhere related to that field. as I feel I might be doing engineering in the future, and I haven't decided which field, but I think I would be doing some type of an engineering, and I wish to be a great leader in offering the right guidance and offering the right support. I wish to be a great intellectual person in being a contributor to the society, in helping the society to progress, and that's one of my goals, one of my major goals. And yet, I wish to be successful. So I wish to really progress and attain self-actualization. That is my to completely capitalize on my potential to come up well and yet be helpful to the society and yet be successful. So that's my main primary goal, and I wish to pursue engineering in NUS, which you had mentioned earlier in the interview, and I'm really working hard towards it, and I hope I make it that. Thank you. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. The last thing I would like to ask you on behalf of all of us here at GIIS is, what advice would you give us for our exams?
This is a kind of a tricky question because generally I don't give advice, but rather I seek advice from teachers and from parents and from seniors in general. So I've been more of taking advice from others rather than giving advice. But what advice which I would give all students is to ensure that you don't get yourself distracted, but rather keep yourself focused towards what you're supposed to do. Finish your targets, finish your homeworks, finish your assignments, write on time when the teacher says, follow the instructions and follow the instructions the teacher is giving you, because the teachers are really helpful and they're really amazing. And if you follow what the teacher tells you to do, you will definitely do well in this course. And it's not a really hard thing. You just got to keep following what the teacher is saying, and you've got to keep asking doubts. You should be more of an inquisitive person, and you should keep yourself engaged in the subject. You shouldn't feel that the subject is boring, because every subject is useful, and it'll be very useful. Maybe not now, maybe if not now, it'll be really helpful in the future. So you should keep yourself engaged, and definitely, as I had mentioned earlier, you should practice past paper questions and go through the marking scheme and understanding what the examiner wants, what skill you're supposed to develop, and looking for scope for more improvement. You should keep looking at improvements and you're not get disappointed if the initial results. But you should keep a target. You should follow the concept of self-reflection and understanding what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. If you understand that, and if you work towards fostering your weakness and yet maintaining your strengths, then it's going to be a really good game changer for you in performing well in terms of academics. Because I have seen myself progress really well from 8th grade to 9th grade to 10th grade. So that's because I was consistently focusing on improvements, consistently focusing on thinking and applying the concept rather than memorizing them. It's essential to understand what you're doing. It's essential to keep thinking on what you're doing and ensure that you're meeting your targets on time, and ensuring that you're managing your time efficiently and keeping a proper strategy towards what you're doing. And to the school, I feel really grateful and thankful to the school, and I think the school should do what it has been doing over the years. It has been producing excellent results consistently, and they should keep doing what they're doing. And it's really an honor to be a part of GIIS, and I feel really thankful to have gotten such great opportunities, and I will continue working hard towards my goals.
That is so inspirational and helpful. Thank you so much, Akshay. All of us are truly in awe and inspired by you. And a great thanks to all of you for listening to the GIIS podcast, The Smartcast. Don't forget to like, share, and comment below. Be sure to follow us on SoundCloud/GIIS SmartCast. If you have any suggestions for future podcasts, please feel free to write to us. This is Niranjana signing off.